Are we going?
Yeah.
We're going. Hello, happy gardeners. Welcome back to Stinky Ditch Nursery. We've got Marla on camera. Say hello, Marla.
Hi.
And today I'd like to show you what cyclamen are doing at this time of year. They're not dying. Marla, you're laughing as well. I know. Us cyclamen growers, we understand this, but people who have bought them for the first time, I fully understand you will think something's up. They die back in the summer. They do that. And I've got some examples here. Marla, if you'd like to spin it. What we're going to do is we're going to pot a few of these up and I'll show you what to do with them. Anyway, here we've got, look, this is a cyclamen. The leaves have done this. This is normal. It's absolutely natural. This is what they do this time of year. Yep, and these are the seed pods forming, which are quite interesting in themselves. Kids think these are fantastic. They can play around with them like mad. Don't pull them off. They're not quite ripe yet. When they're ripe, I'll show you how to collect the seeds and we can grow some seeds from there. And here, look, another big one. You know, and all these leaves are coming off like this. This is natural. When your cyclamen start doing this, don't think you have to water them more because they come from the Mediterranean. At this time of year, around the Med, mainly sort of the north and over to the sort of east, going down around here. And this is what the environment does there. It gets hot in the summer, it's very hot, and the cyclamen dry out. This is where they've evolved. This is why they behave like this. Sorry to go on, but I get quite a few messages online about this. And, well, we're doing a little video to explain it. So, Marla, spin it again. Look, here's another one. I've got an F in here. So this was a beautiful hedifolium that was fragrant. A fragrant variety. Marla has, well, you know Marla, don't they? They all smell different, don't they?
Yeah.
They do. They all have their individual smells that develop as they're getting, you know, as the flowers get older. It's quite a fascinating thing in itself, the different smells that you can get from cyclamen flowers. But anyway, here we go. Here's our cyclamen plant. There is nothing wrong with it. I assure you. Here's another one, just to make this absolutely clear. I grow these. I am not worried about them doing this at this time of year. It's normal. What we're going to do is we're going to pot a few up. Now, I'm selling them at the moment. And if you're buying them, I do explain in the listing and everything, you will just receive bulbs. But it's the best time to get them into your pots or get them into the ground. Do it now while they're dormant, while they've got the seed pods on them like this, and they will establish themselves and start to push up flowers a lot stronger than if you buy them in flower and plant them out in flower later in the year, if you see what I mean. But there we are, everyone will still buy them in flower. Right then, Marla, what we're going to do is we're going to pot these up in some terracotta pots. So I'm going to make a mix for the cyclamen because they want that you don't use multi-purpose compost. You know this, Marla, don't you? She knows all about it. She's nodding. Yeah, my thoughts on multi-purpose compost. You know, but there we are. We won't go into that. It's a little bit too political. Right, so I'm going to pop these down here for the moment, and with a sieve. You've got to have a sieve for your cyclamen. It's got about sort of little holes like that. Marla, spin in just so people can see how big the holes are. You know, quite a fine sieve. If you haven't got a sieve, just pick the big bits out. But, you know, generally do that. Also, it's Saturday afternoon. This cannot be done without
it's
a
Sunday.
beverage. Is it Sunday?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not beer o'clock yet.
Oh, you can't be kidding me. What is it? It's 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's nearly 4 o'clock.
On a Sunday? And it's a bank holiday Monday tomorrow.
Yeah, it's bank holiday.
Yes, there we are. So we can have a beverage with our potting up. I recommend it. It really makes the afternoon go a lot better. Unless you don't drink and have a cup of tea or some lemonade or something like that. I don't know. You're pulling faces now. Right then, back with the post. Here's our pots we're going to use. I've got some terracotta pots. Cyclamen just look nicer in terracotta pots. It's a bit more of a tradition thing, but oh, I lost the seed pod. Right, let's get this off the table. Right, now to make our mix, we are going to use 3 things. We're going to use 2 parts soil. This is topsoil. Marla, can you spin it? Just show the people. It's topsoil. This is the stuff that comes out of your garden. Now, I've sieved this already, but I'm going to pop it in there. But it's nice, fine topsoil. This is full of tiny little trace elements and things like this that plants really, really like. I've also got here 1 part of recycled grow bag. This is basically not a peat thing. Don't use peat, non-peat, but it's a grow bag, multi-purpose compost from last year. All the nutrition has come out of it. We're only putting this in for structure. It's so that the soil can breathe and it's so that the soil can absorb water. And because cyclamen like good drainage, we're also going to put in 1 part gritty sand. Marla, spin in, because people often ask about the gritty sand. It's called all different things in different countries. In the UK, it's called Bideford grit, even though it doesn't come from Bideford anymore. But you can see it's quite a gritty thing. It's not like sandpit sand. But there we are. I think people have seen the sand now. Right, now I'm going to sieve all this together. Give it a bit of a mix, like that. And any big bits, we're going to chuck over our head like that, like a lunatic. I blame the lager. Right, and now I'm going to mix this together. Mara, if you'd like to spin in. Now, when you mix your three things together, you just keep doing it until it's all the same colour. It's as simple as that. It really is. There's no great mystery to it. And you want it of a certain... You want it to be sort of a consistency, so if you squeeze it really hard, it sort of sticks together, but then if you break it, it all falls apart. So if it's a bit too dry, add a little bit of water, like you would if you were making a cake or dough for bread. You know, it's the same sort of thing, you know, but you want it to get to about this sort of consistency. So if you do need to add water, add a very little bit at a time. If it's too wet, add a bit of dry soil or something like that. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to plant one in this pot here. Now, I've got a drainage hole in the bottom, but we don't want this blocking up. So for this, I'm going to get a crock, which is a bit of a broken pot. Just get a pot, smash it up. Be careful. And as you can see, because of the curvature of a pot, like this, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to use that. So we're going to put it like that, so it makes a little arch over the hole. You see that, Marla?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this will allow water to drain and stop the thing from getting blocked up. I'm going to put a bit of compost in the bottom, and I'm going to get this one here. And so, with our cyclamen, if you receive them from me, they will have already been taken out of the pots, and you will just receive something that looks a little bit like that, in a bag, wrapped up. Now this one, it's quite clear where the top is, because we've got the seed pods on the top. If you don't know where the top is, if you... Come in here, Marla, and see if we can see. You can see all the roots tend to come out the bottom and the sides. Sometimes with a bulb it's quite thin, but if you've got a blank bit like that on top, generally that's going to be the top. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pop it in the pot. Now I've made that a little bit too high. Marla, spin in, show the people. See, the top of the bulb's there, and I want a bit over the top of the bulb, and so I'm going to take a bit of this out, like that, and pop him back in there. Now we're going to, there we go, that's better. Now I'm going to pull these seed pods up a little bit, ever so carefully. You don't want to break the tendrils. I'm going to pop them up a little bit like that, and hold them in my hand, and then I'm going to try not to drop them. There we go. And then I'm going to put this soil, this compost, our gritty mix, around the edge, like this. And push it down well. We don't want any air gaps in there, like that. Give it a little bit of a thing, and then scrape it off. And we've always got to have, Marla, this is the important bit, it's so important when you're potting up plants. You want to have a gap at the top. You've got to have a gap between the top of the pot and your soil, because when you water it, it'll sit on, it'll soak down in. If you fill it right to the top, you're not going to be able to get enough water in there to get down to the roots. So there we go. And that's it. Now those seed pods are I'm going to do another one. Shall I do another one?
Yeah.
I'll do another one. Right, I'm going to pot up a silicium. Now, I'm selling these at the moment. They're the scented variety, and they work well with coams. Shall I start talking about this? Yeah, why not? If you're planting out your cyclamen, there's two main varieties that are commercially available. The outdoor cyclamen, you've got the hedifolium and the coams. One of them's autumn flowering, one of them is winter flowering. Now, if you plant them in the same space, over the years, the hedifolium, the bigger plants, will outdo the coams. They will disappear. So if you have the two varieties, the best thing to do is plant them in two different patches, only 1 metre apart, but plant them in two different patches, and you'll have your autumn display there, and then it will turn to leaf the whole of the winter, and you'll have your winter display coming over here. But silicium, am I rambling on a bit too much? No, I suppose not. No. This week a bit leisurely about this, aren't we? Sorry. But your silicium, the scented version, which are, there it is, this one here, these will sit with coam quite happily. These will flower in the autumn, they're scented, and then put out leaf. The coams will come up with their leaf in the autumn, and then they'll put their flowers up over the winter. But they will sit together and they will grow into a big patch together quite happily. It's just the hedifolium and the coams that do not go well together. Have I gone on about it enough?
Yeah.
I think I have. Right, so we're going to pot this up. So as you can see, Marla, if you'd like to spin in, this corm has pushed itself right up to the surface. This is what they do for some reason. I think it's to bake themselves dry in the summer, I'm not sure. And we've got a couple of seed pods on there. The flowers have gone over. This is what the flowers turn into after they've been pollinated. So I'm just going to pop that out of there and see what sort of thing we've got going on. So I'm going to move this soil around the top. There we go. So I can see I've got a nice massive sort of roots on there, like that, and we've got the corm on the top. Now I'm going to put this in a tiny little pot because they don't grow very big. And again, we've got the drainage hole in the bottom. We get our bit of crock with the curvy side like that going down, and then we pot on a little bit of soil like that, and I'm going to pop it in there like that. And it doesn't matter if you push it down a little bit, squeeze those roots out, that's quite all right. Now we're going to pop a bit of the soil around the edge, give it a bit of a squeeze, and push him down a bit, and just cover the top of that corm up like that. There we go, with the seed pods on top. And that's it. I'm going to give them a bit of a water, and over the winter they don't want, over the summer they don't want too much water. Imagine where they've evolved. They've evolved around the Mediterranean Sea, and it's hot, it's dry, it's arid. They grow in woods, but you know, quite often it's still very dry. The trees are going to be drinking stuff, so you don't want to water them too much while they're dormant. They're still forming seeds. We'll do a little bit on how to collect the seeds. I've done one in previous years, but we'll do another one this year. And that's it. Just leave them in the pots, give them a bit of water. They're better outside than in a greenhouse. Don't think they need to go in a greenhouse, and you'll start getting some wonderful, wonderful flowers in autumn. This has been Robbie Phoenix and Marla on camera, down at Stinky Ditch Nursery, potting up our cyclamen and just showing people how they are dying back at this time of year. They are not dead, they're like daffodils. Thanks for watching.